Have you ever wondered why motivation fades, but some people keep pushing forward anyway? The secret is not in the ebbs and flows of motivation, but in the steadfast power of discipline. Step behind the curtain of what truly drives lasting success and discover the Stoic path to becoming unfazed by setbacks or fleeting emotion. Why discipline beats motivation every time. Stoic Personal Control, compiled and published by Stoic Ruler. Lesson 1. Understand the discipline advantage. Picture yourself as a solitary wanderer on a moonlit path. The world hushed around you, every step echoing in your own ears. At first, each stride feels effortless, pulsing with the quiet momentum of hope. But inevitably, the brightness of the moon dims, shadows crowd in, and you wonder, what will fuel the next step when the road grows long or uncertain? Here in this hushed landscape, the true test begins. Not in our swift first steps, but in what we do when all outside encouragement grows faint, when inspiration yields to struggle. For anyone seeking mastery of emotion or forging a mind that remains unshaken in the storms of life, this threshold is where most turn back, haunted by the subtle ache of inconsistency. How many times have you set a bold intention, only to find its force evaporate when emotions run cold or circumstances shift? What is it that allows some to press forward, painting the days with consistent effort, while others abandon their quests in the silence where motivation used to be? This is the inner conflict at the core of human growth, the urge to press forward versus the weight of uncertain will. The trouble is not that you lack desire. Even the gentlest heart flames with ambition by night, vowing change. The renewed health, the unshakable confidence, the fear overcome, or the mastery unknown. Yet, by morning's harsh light, when fatigue presses or anxiety whispers doubts in the ear, that fiery energy dwindles. It is easy to act when feelings are high, but in the aftermath, when life's demands call louder than dreams, many feel paralyzed by the drag of old habits. Trapped in cycles where strong intentions quickly dissolve into passive surrender. Think of the mind as a ship on unpredictable seas. Motivation is the fleeting wind, swift and spirited, pushing you forward only as long as it blows. But what if the wind dies? If all you rely upon is that spark of inspiration, soon you are left drifting, subject to whims that care nothing for your goals. Here's where a transformation beckons. Instead of seeking ever greater gusts of motivation, become the archer whose hand is guided not just by the thrill of the hunt, but by patient, steady technique. The kind painstakingly trained over seasons, the kind no sudden storm can undo. This is the discipline advantage. Discipline is the inner compass, invisible yet unwavering, a still burning fire that glows unseen beneath distractions and shifting moods. When you carry discipline, you no longer serve the swings of emotion. Instead, you master your passions. If motivation is the open flame, discipline is the silent ember that refuses to die out. With discipline, you become the silent stoic, moving forward regardless of applause or criticism, acting from a center untouched by passing storms. You become less interested in waiting for the world or your feelings to give you permission. Instead, you unlock within yourself a core of undefeatable calm, an inward strength to overcome the chill of fear or the nagging uncertainty of beginnings without visible end. The wisdom of the ancients lives and breathes in the simplicity of daily, committed action. When you choose discipline, you say to yourself each day, I am the master of my emotion, my fate shaped not by luck, but through conscious, deliberate steps. You begin to notice that the mind, when trained into discipline, becomes less tormented by storms of impulse or doubt. Instead, it sharpens with every challenge, a mind capable of deeper control, more exacting focus, and the quiet conviction that even when the world is against you, you will not be moved. Imagine this new approach, not as a lodestone, but as a hidden key, unlocking doors you once believed were beyond your reach. With each day driven by discipline, the path ahead remains lit, even through darkness, and you discover an impact that does not depend on what you feel in the moment, but what you become over a lifetime. Start by setting a small, daily discipline that matters to you, whether it's rising with intention, breathing deeply before speaking, or finishing what you start, despite how you feel. With each act of discipline, you'll build silent strength, clarity, and a sense of mastery over your life. Challenge yourself to remain consistent for 1 week. Observe how your confidence and inner calm steadily increase. Remember, it's not about perfection, but honoring your promise to act even when motivation falters. Next, we'll expose the motivation myth and reveal why waiting for inspiration holds you back from progress. If you found this lesson valuable, subscribe to Stoic Ruler, like the video, and share your path toward unwavering discipline in the comments below. Lesson 2. Expose the motivation myth. Imagine a candlelit room in the deep of night, shadows trembling on the walls, the world outside held still by silence. In this delicate hush, the flame flickers wildly. A single gust of wind could sweep it away. So many of us, in pursuit of goals and self-mastery, rely upon this frail and flickering flame within. Motivation? At times it burns bright, transforming hesitation into heroic beginning. Yet soon enough, the radiance falters, leaving us stranded in the lingering dark, unsure of how to find direction or certainty. The allure of motivation, so intoxicating when it arrives, becomes a cruel illusion when it vanishes just as suddenly, leaving only unmet promises and the heavy ache of disappointment. Each person has heard the siren song of motivation, those surging tides of passion that urge us forward when the world seems ripe with possibility. Perhaps it's in the first light of a New Year's morning, when fresh resolve streams into old routines. Or perhaps it's felt during crisis, when necessity demands immediate action and adrenaline roars with purpose. Yet quietly, the truth remains. Motivation, like the mutable sea, is fickle and unpredictable. How often do we set lofty goals beneath a surge of hope, only to abandon them days later when enthusiasm fades, when life's routine washes over zeal, when setbacks dull the senses? The world sells us the myth of motivation, suggesting that we can control when inspiration comes, that success awaits if only we wait to be inspired enough. But there comes a moment, standing at the threshold of our dreams, when we realize the bitter trap. Motivation is not a steady bridge to the life we want, but a bridge that often disappears halfway across. This is the inner struggle that haunts so many, wondering why it is so hard to keep promises to ourselves, blaming lack of motivation for every task undone, dream deferred, or comforted distraction. Each day, we wait for a spark, believing it will grant us superhuman effort or make the difficult suddenly desirable. The problem is not the absence of desire or hope, but the reliance on something as fleeting and unpredictable as weather. Anchoring our lives to motivation is like captaining a vessel guided only by shifting winds, powerless to sail if the air grows still or storms close in. Now imagine a different way, a revelation as clear and ancient as the wisdom of the silent Stoic. Consider the sun, not the candle, unwavering, relentless, steady in its rise. The solution is to shift our focus from motivation, which is a sensation, to self-discipline, which is a decision. Self-discipline is the deep current running beneath all surface waves, calm and persistent, shaping the landscape below. It is what enables a mind to find meaning in repetition, to act regardless of feeling, to treat emotions as ingredients rather than dictators. When self-discipline takes root, you discover the power of emotional control, the mastery of your inner experience, which cannot be commandeered by outside circumstance or transient moods. By relinquishing the myth that motivation is required to begin, by anchoring actions to the clarity of discipline, you unlock not only sustained progress, but also a profound freedom. You train your mind to operate from intention, not impulse, to become quiet like the silent archer who knows his target even on windless days. The benefits ripple outward: more confidence, greater inner peace, the ability to lead an undefeatable life, unburdened by the unpredictability of feeling. Emotions will still flow, fears will still visit, but now they arrive to witness your quiet resolve, not govern it. In this gentle but powerful shift, you move from chasing sparks to becoming the fire itself, steady, sure, and capable of weathering every darkness. Commit to one meaningful action each day, regardless of your mood, and reflect on how your confidence grows as you honor your decisions over fleeting feelings. As you trade motivation for discipline, notice mental clarity and inner calm increase. Next, we'll build systems that support you beyond emotions. For more insight, subscribe to Stoic Ruler and share your reflections below. Lesson 3. Build systems over feelings. Imagine a timeless garden built on solid stone, while the world beyond is battered by restless winds and unpredictable storms. The flowers here bloom in every season, not from luck or longing, but because invisible hands have shaped the ground, set the stones, and built channels for water to flow even in drought. In the restless arena of daily struggle, we wish for that same certainty in our habits and path. Yet too often, we approach our goals like ships on open water, tossed by every whim and reaction, wishing for favorable winds, but having no rudder to steer by. This is where the quiet battle of self-mastery occurs, caught between what we aspire to do in hopeful moments and what we actually accomplish when energy wanes and our emotions become choppy seas. Most of us have experienced the frustration of unreliable progress. We wake up with intention, eager to embrace the day, only to be distracted before breakfast by unexpected news or a demanding message. Perhaps you plan an evening routine to anchor your mind in peace, but the temptations of comfort, noise, and fatigue call you away every night. Over time, the small failures add up, and we begin to tell ourselves that change must be too hard, or that we are simply not cut out for unwavering discipline. The pain is not only in lost productivity or missed goals, but in the quiet erosion of confidence, the sense that our lives are driven not by chosen purpose, but by the emotional weather of the moment. The cycle repeats, and the world looks less steady, your courage a flickering flame in endless wind. Yet the wisdom of the Stoic, silent and certain, offers a way through. What if you could step outside the endless tides of motivation and instead architect your days as if constructing your own fortress? A place where emotion does not dictate action, but action gently channels emotion into calm and purpose. The solution lies in systems, patterns and rituals strong enough to carry you forward, regardless of how you feel. A system is like the engine of a great ship. The sea will always change, but the ship moves because the engine runs, not because the sailor's mood drifts with the sky. Systems do not wait for your mind to be ready. Instead, they are the scaffolding of daily life, a series of actions chosen deliberately that create reliable outcomes even during uncertainty. Imagine the benefits. When you rise each morning, a system that gently pulls you into momentum. Stretching, breathing, clear planning requires no decision or inspiration, only trust in the blueprint you have created. Each time you return home, a system leads you into quiet reflection, a reminder of who you choose to be instead of surrendering to scattered impulses. As a result, you free your mind from hundreds of daily negotiations with yourself and unlock a wellspring of willpower and consistency. Emotional mastery becomes more than a distant ideal. It is practiced and reinforced every day by your actions and choices. Fear retreats in the face of clarity. Doubt finds itself outmatched by the sequence of steps you execute, even on days when your spirit feels silent. Building systems is not about forcing yourself into mechanical routine, but handing yourself the key to a greater sense of control. You begin to shape your environment and habits around what matters, instead of waiting for the perfect emotion to appear. This is what the ancients knew, that a well-ordered life grows not from chaos, but from simple rhythms repeated with intent, each one a stone in the path toward personal mastery. A system, once built, is like the planted seed. It needs tending, not constant inspiration. Let it carry you when feelings are weak, and watch as you unlock new reservoirs of resilience, endurance, and undefeatable calm, forging the silent Stoic within. Begin by creating one simple daily system, such as a morning ritual or a 3-step wind down at night, and follow it for 1 week. Notice how less mental energy is wasted, and how your confidence quietly builds. Embrace this foundation, and prepare to train your willpower. Subscribe to Stoic Ruler, share your progress, and stay inspired for Lesson 4. Lesson 4. Train the Stoic will. Picture the calm before dawn, a silent hour when night still lingers over the earth, and even the air feels suspended in expectation. This is the realm where true resilience is born, guided not by the brightness of easy days, but by the unseen fire within. The Stoic will is like the deep-rooted tree that grips the soil during winter's fiercest storms. Its strength is quiet, and its steadfastness is invisible to all but those who endure. Yet, inside us all, is a longing for that inner sturdiness, because even if our lives don't always show raging storms on the outside, the storm within of doubt, hesitation, and raw emotion commands our path far more often than we admit. Everyone feels the gnawing pull of temptation, the slippery slope of fatigue, the sudden clutch of fear as we pursue meaningful growth. A day begins with clarity, resolve, and purpose. But a sharp word, an unexpected disappointment, or the simple press of routine can erode resolve and leave us questioning. Do I truly have the strength to stay my chosen course when distractions swirl and comfort beckons? It is a universal inner conflict. We all wish to respond to life with grace, unmoved by provocation, unbowed by setbacks, able to shape not just our actions, but the very way we interpret and feel our experiences. Yet, when discomfort arises or willpower wanes, we may find ourselves surrendering to emotional fatigue, seeking relief in old habits or quick escapes. Perhaps you've intended to start a challenging project, continue a practice of daily meditation, or simply speak and act with more intention. Inevitably, the moment comes when initial energy is gone. Left alone with your resolve, every distraction seems more enticing. This is where many drift back to the well-trodden paths of least resistance, recycling frustration and self-doubt. Real change, as every Stoic knows, is rarely tested on calm waters. It is tested in silent hours when only your own will stands between you and the pull of lesser choices. The pain for so many is subtle and persistent, a sense that emotional storms determine our days, and self-mastery remains just beyond reach. The ancient wisdom of Stoicism provides an enduring answer. Cultivate your will in small, deliberate ways, treating it not as an infinite resource, but as a muscle trained through mindful, consistent effort. Think of the Stoic will as the unseen archer's hand, a steady guidance that persists regardless of noise, wind, or passing impulse. Each day contains countless small trials perfect for practice. The choice to pause before reacting when anger or anxiety rises, the discipline to complete one extra task when energy is low, the patient practice of facing discomfort without recoiling. Tiny acts of will, repeated with intention, forge a mind that does not recoil from challenge, but meets it with a silent nod. Over time, the Stoic will grows unwavering. When the archer draws, his shot is true, even without applause, even without the spark of new motivation. By treating every moment of discomfort as a chance to gently exercise your will, you unlock the ability to govern both reaction and emotion. The transformation is both quiet and profound. Where once setbacks and temptations held sway, you develop a rare stability, a resilience not easily shaken by circumstance. You become like that rooted tree, silent but enduring, mastering your own feelings rather than being mastered by them. In this persistent training, every day becomes an opportunity not for perfection, but for incremental progress, shaping you into someone who acts with purpose while remaining still inside, no matter the storms outside. The Stoic will become your silent companion, giving you not dramatic victories, but the persistent trust in yourself that in the end turns daily choices into a life of undefeated strength and self-possession. Start by choosing one small act of will each day. A pause before reacting, or finishing a task despite discomfort, and observe your strength build. This daily practice will anchor calm and deepen your emotional control. Persist and feel your perseverance grow. Next, we'll discover how to master your daily personal control. Subscribe for more and share your progress below. Lesson 5. Master daily personal control. Think of a mountain stream winding calmly through rocks and meadows. Its path is not a frantic rush, but a graceful weaving. Steady, purposeful, and unhurried, no matter what obstacles or turns appear. To master daily personal control is to become like that stream, moving forward with poise and intention while the chaos of the world swirls around you. It sounds simple, but those who seek true emotional mastery or self-discipline quickly discover the constant challenge beneath its surface. Every day, you wake with the promise of a new beginning, only to face countless tests of your poise. An unfinished task that nags at your mind, an unwelcome distraction that pulls you away, or an unwarranted criticism that leaves you flustered or resentful. There is an internal tug of war, a hidden friction between your desire for calm command and the daily noise that invites you to lose your way. Perhaps you recognize the sensation, the morning intention to remain calm in traffic, a silent vow broken minutes after your commute begins, or the evening wish to unplug and reflect, derailed by one more message or an endless scroll on your phone. The restless pace of modern life often ignites emotional impulses. Frustration, impatience, irritability, or anxious tension, flooding your personal landscape and testing your will. It is common to wonder, why is it so hard to maintain equilibrium from morning to night? Why do moments of clarity so often dissolve into the fog of distraction, old habits, and emotional overreactions? The pain isn't in the external events themselves, but in the sense that you lose contact with your deepest intentions so quickly, as if some quiet power inside was slipping through your hands. The Stoic answer is bold and quietly liberating. Take back daily personal control, moment by moment. The solution is not to force a veneer of perfection or become rigid and cold. Instead, it is to nurture a state of inner vigilance, a patient awareness that lets you gently steer your mental state no matter the outer conditions. This is not about suppression or denial. Rather, it's about holding the invisible reins of your actions and responses, guiding your day with discernment and silent strength. Picture yourself as a ship's captain on a quiet sea, attentive and unhurried, guiding your course with practiced hands even while waves battle the hull and winds shift without warning. Your power does not reside in removing every challenge or impulse. It lives in the returning, in the ability to pause, recenter, and redirect again and again with grace. Every return is an act of mastery. This gentle approach leads you toward becoming unshakable. By noticing your triggers and not reacting impulsively, you will find space to make wiser choices. When frustration appears, you pause and breathe. When distraction visits, you consciously ask yourself what matters most in this moment. Each small act of control is like adding strong, steady stones to your stream's banks, ensuring your energy moves in the direction you have chosen, not where chaos or emotion tries to send it. Over time, you will awaken to a sense of power and quiet impact, a shift from being bounced between moods to directing the flow of your days with clear intention. This is how you unlock personal power, cultivate emotional control, and begin to trust that you can handle both calm and storm with an inner stillness set deeply in your mind. The wisdom is ancient, but ever new. A steady hand, trained and patient, brings each day under your silent, purposeful control. Choose one area of your day, like responding to stress or minimizing distractions, and practice pausing, breathing deeply, and choosing your response. Notice how your sense of composure and focus grows with each effort. Begin today. Mastery unfolds in these small moments. Stay with us as the next lesson reveals how to stay consistent without emotion. Subscribe and share your journey below. Lesson 6. Stay consistent without emotion. Picture a lighthouse standing atop jagged rocks, unmoved through endless storms and sweeping tides. Its beam does not flicker in panic when dark clouds arrive, nor wane in the face of howling winds. It simply continues to shine, steadfast and sure, day after day. Such is the ideal of unwavering consistency, the rare ability to do what matters most, regardless of ever-changing moods and fleeting inspirations. It's an image many of us admire yet struggle to embody, especially in the daily pursuit of emotional mastery or lasting self-discipline. Inside, we often feel like ships tossed by internal weather. There are days when enthusiasm bursts forth like a sudden sunrise, and effort flows with little resistance. Yet inevitably, there are also days of gray skies and still waters, when even simple actions feel heavy, old habits surge back, and the world seems determined to test our patience and resolve. This inner conflict between the clear call of our intentions and the unpredictable tides of emotion is one of the primary challenges faced when aiming to live with dignity and effectiveness. Perhaps you've promised yourself to stick to a fitness routine, meditate daily, or write each morning. At first, it's easy, powered by the gleam of newness or a vision of transformation. But as initial excitement dims, emotional resistance creeps in, revealing just how volatile human motivation can be. All too often, we become captives of our feelings, We act when it feels good or convenient, then falter and criticize ourselves when momentum lags. The highs are intoxicating, the sense that now I'm finally on my way. The lows, however, bring doubts. Was my drive ever real? Am I not disciplined enough? Our self-worth fluctuates on these waves, and what should be a steady journey becomes a series of hesitant leaps, backslides, and guilty starts. The pain lies not just in lost progress, but in the frustration that each new effort seems to collapse the moment internal weather changes. Stoic wisdom calls us to step beyond this stormy dance, urging us to make consistency the true north of our progress, a choice rooted in who we wish to become, not what we feel day to day. Imagine adopting the posture of the silent Stoic, an archer who practices her aim each sunrise, rain or shine, perfecting her craft not because of applause or encouragement, but because repetition itself shapes her into something greater. The transformative solution is to separate action from emotion, to view commitment as a promise made to yourself that stands regardless of your internal weather. This is not a denial or suppression of feelings, but a clear-eyed understanding that emotions are visitors, not leaders, on the path of meaningful effort. When you reorder your priorities around values and systems instead of moods, you open new doors to personal growth. The disciplined mind grows undefeated by temporary frustration or exhaustion. Progress flows smoothly like the ancient river, whose course is set by the patient work of many seasons, not the whims of rain or drought. The result is a sense of freedom and quiet power. You no longer wait for the right feeling before taking action. You simply choose, again and again, to move forward, allowing your composure to be the anchor that holds firm even when the sea stirs wildly. By shifting your focus to consistency as an act of self-respect, not a response to internal pressure, you unlock previously hidden reserves of strength and endurance. What once felt unattainable becomes natural, because you have become the lighthouse, stable, bright, and reliable, illuminating your way by choice, not chance. The path is always open to those who walk it with steady heart and clear intention, unaffected by the passing clouds of emotion. Choose one daily task important to your growth and commit to doing it, no matter your mood. Track your consistency for a week and note your rising sense of stability and confidence. With each steady step, you train your mind further. In the next lesson, we'll explore leading with inner discipline. Subscribe and share your progress or reflections below. Lesson 7. Lead with inner discipline. Picture a torch glowing steadily at the heart of a silent gathering. No matter how many come and go, how shifting the whispers or abrupt the storms outside, that light stands unmovable. Its unwavering glow is not accidental. It is the quiet, patient result of fuel placed with care, fire tended, and intention set long before darkness ever falls. Leading with inner discipline is much the same. It is the art of being the internal torchbearer for yourself and those around you, a source of calm, consistency, and purposeful strength, untouched by the noise or clamor of circumstance. Yet the true struggle for many isn't in imagining this ideal, but in stepping into it when real tests appear. Whether at work, home, or among friends, you have likely faced moments when your influence falters because emotion surges, fear whispers, or old habits slip out uninvited. You mean to embody reliability or purpose, but instead you speak a word too sharp, neglect a promise, or let doubts guide your actions. The inner conflict is familiar to anyone drawn to the Stoic path. Part of you wants to stand tall and set the emotional temperature for your environment. Another part is tangled in old patterns of reactivity, self-doubt, or avoidance. When stress arises in a meeting or chaos erupts at home, it is wildly tempting to respond to the outer storm rather than remain the silent calm at its center. And so, the pain emerges. A deep sense that while you aspire to impact those around you, lift spirits, resolve tension, or simply encourage steadiness, you first become a servant to your own passing emotions. Being ruled by moods is not only personally draining, but it undermines the trust and admiration you hope to inspire in others. Without inner discipline, you may notice relationships feel unpredictable, your work lacks the imprint of reliability, and your leadership rings hollow when the moment demands more than surface effort. What challenges so many is not a lack of good intentions. but the gap between how they wish to respond and what their habits dictate in moments of friction. Deep down, the longing isn't just to appear calm, but to radiate an authentic, silent influence, the kind that attracts loyalty, inspires teamwork, and gives strength to others simply through presence. The transformative solution lies in cultivating discipline as an inner leadership quality, not a set of rules you impose on others, but an unshakable foundation from which all actions flow. Imagine yourself as the ship's captain at midnight, hands steady on the wheel as unseen waves jostle the vessel. No shouting or bravado is needed. The crew is drawn to your silent example, reassured by your unwavering commitment and control. To lead with inner discipline is to practice self-governance in every interaction and decision, showing, rather than telling, what self-mastery looks like in real time. This does not mean suppressing your true self or hiding every setback. Rather, it's anchoring actions in your deepest values, allowing a still clarity to guide both big choices and daily moments. As you develop this core strength, others sense it through your patience during a team crisis, your thoughtful words, even under pressure, and your willingness to stay the course when quick comfort beckons. The benefits stretch wider than your own growth. They ripple outward to those who look to you for reassurance or inspiration. You become the person whose energy replaces panic with direction and frustration with focus. In practice, leading with inner discipline is not a single dramatic gesture, but the repeated choice to act deliberately and maintain your integrity when it would be easier to simply react or vanish. Over time, your steadfastness becomes magnetic, your influence genuine and lasting. The wisdom behind this approach may be ancient, but it hums with new relevance every day. To lead from the inside out is to continually unlock your fullest capacity, not simply to withstand adversity for your own sake, but to be the lighthouse whose beam brings confidence, steadiness, and opportunity for others. You discover that as the silent Stoic, your impact is not in loud proclamations, but in the example you offer, through the still fire you nourish within. Begin each day by setting one intention to lead with quiet discipline, such as remaining calm in a tense moment or honoring your commitments with steady follow-through. As you practice, notice genuine respect and influence grow around you. Keep building this inner strength daily. Share your experience and reflections below, and continue your journey of self-mastery with us. As you finish this journey through Stoic discipline, remember the power to master your emotions, build steadfast habits, and lead with inner calm now rests in your hands. Thank you for dedicating your time to growth. If this video helped you, please like, share your insights in the comments, and subscribe for more from Stoic Ruler.